Good evening. This is Vice President Cynthia Elliott from the Board of Education here with President Van White as well as Superintendent Maya Smalls, who's also here, and we want to present the I Believe Award. We give out this award, I believe on a monthly, every other month basis, and we're just so delighted to be able to recognize a teacher and a student from Leadership Academy for Young Men. It is the school that I am the liaison to, and I was just out there a couple of weeks ago, and I've got plans to come in a few more weeks, so hopefully I'll get a chance to see you, Mr. Cardillo, as well as Carlos. So let me just first of all congratulate you. Mother. You all set there? Everybody set?
What did you do?
Nothing.
Hit the mute button.
Is Mr. Cardilli there? We got Mr. Cardilli?
There you go.
We got Carlos? Carlos, you there? Carlos?
He is there, but I don't know if he's hearing us.
Okay. Let me make sure Carlos is hearing us first.
Are you hearing us, Carlos?
Carlos, are you hearing? Are you hearing us,
Yep.
Carlos?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome and congratulations. So I don't know if you heard what I said, just a few of the words that I said, that I was out at Leadership probably a couple of weeks ago, and I'm planning on coming out, sometime over the next month or so. So hopefully I'll get a chance to see you all. But congratulations to you both, and I have a script here that I want to read. We're just so honored, as I represent the board, to give you all this I Believe Award. And indeed, I appreciate, Mr. Cardillo, you making your commitment to our district and to our students, and in particular to Carlos. And Carlos, as I'm told and as I read the script, how you are evolving and continue to do that. And so let me just read the script if I could. The Rochester Board of Education is proud to present the I Believe Award to Leadership Academy for Young Men to student Carlos De Jesus and his teacher, Mr. Brian Cardilli. Hopefully I'm saying both of those names correctly. Thank you. Carlos had a challenging start during his freshman year at Leadership Academy. Mr. Cardilli has been a beacon for Carlos for the last several years. With Mr. Cardilli's mentorship and being his baseball coach, Carlos has grown into the respectful Scarlet athlete. We applaud Mr. Cardilli for providing outstanding student support to Carlos. Please join me in congratulating Carlos and Mr. Cardilli. We wish we had more people in here, Mr. Cardilli and Carlos, but you know COVID, that old ugly thing called COVID. We would love to have the house full for both of you. But let me ask Carlos if you'd like to say a few words. We'd like to hear if you would tell us a little bit about, the mentorship and, what if you can just share some of the struggles you were having and then how you have evolved with the help of Mr. Cardilli. Can you do that?
At first, when I got the award, I was very surprised, honestly. And Mr. Cardilli, he's been by my side, like, in school and out of school since the 7th grade. He's been my baseball coach since the 7th grade. He's been my bowling coach. He's been there for me, like, academically and mentally. Like, he's just, like, there 24/7 all the time. And he helped me with a lot of things. And like, he's not just a teacher to me or a coach to me. He's like another father to me, honestly. And
what grade are you in, Carlos?
it's my last year. I'm a senior.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I'll get a chance to say hello to you at least even at graduation. So, well, congratulations, and let us hear from Mr. Cardilli.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I love what I do here at Leadership, and I've had a lot of young men like Carlos that just, just you'll never forget. They become part of your life, and even after they graduate, they still continue to text you and ask you, for advice or things like that, and it's nice to have that kind of impact on our youth, on our students, going that extra step, going that extra mile for them because they deserve it. I think Carlos has always been a young man who just an amazing heart and just aims to please, and a bright young man with a bright future. And I've been more than happy to be his coach, his teacher, and be there for him.
And I want to be very specific, since we're talking about Leadership Academy for men. This community does need men, black and white, rich and poor, to stand up for each other and stand behind each other and stand in front of each other. And that appears to be what's happening between you two. I listen to you both, and I hear not so much your brain talking, and you both seem to be very intelligent people, but more importantly, what I hear is your heart talking. You have a heart for each other, and you have a heart for what you're trying to accomplish together. And nothing could be more important. Degrees are important, don't make mistake about it. But what we do for each other from the heart, things that don't involve compensation, are the things that are most important. And I can hear that in the both of you. You have a great degree of respect and love for each other. And the problems that our city is having, the challenges that we have in and outside our schools, would not be as great if everybody felt the way you two do about each other. So thank you for setting a fine example for everybody in this community about what we can do when we want to move forward together.
Thank you, President White. Madam Superintendent?
Sure. Good evening. I'd just like to offer my congratulations on receiving the Believes Award. I think about the power of adults who were in my life when I was in high school. And one of those individuals certainly was my softball and my basketball coach. And that bond certainly was very strong. And what was so powerful about the interaction is that it went beyond just kind of the classroom. And my coaches really taught me about the importance of teamwork and paying attention and working with one another to capitalize on each other's strengths. It was about listening and learning and focusing, and oftentimes sacrificing self for the good of the team, because it was about the team effort. And so I am just so excited to learn about your relationship, and as President White and Vice President Elliott noted, just the relationship that you have is so powerful, and just want to thank you for all that you've done to pour into this young man and to pour into the other young men that you've been involved with. And so thank you and congratulations.
So we thank you both, Mr. Cardilli and Carlos. The couple of things that I hope you take away from this is what the superintendent talked about is teamwork, and what President White talked about is heart, because that's what's going to, in my opinion, heal our community. And so thank you both for your effort. Carlos, continue to do great work, and I'm hoping that you're going to have a post-secondary.
Listen, I'm Rochester City Schools.
Well, you can say a few words.
Brian, and I just thought I'd mention this. Brian is the third in the family to serve the district.
Oh, wow.
I was with the district for many years, both as teacher and administrator, and he had an uncle, great uncle, who was a teacher and principal. So he comes from a long line of people who have believed in the city school district and have served it. And Carlos, we are so proud of you.
Boy, that encourages me so much. Thank you so much for that. Commissioner LeBron, I see that you're there. Would you like to offer some congratulatory remarks?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to them both, and to thank Brian. And I got to be a little bit behind the scenes while you guys were all getting situated. So I did know that Brian's family was here. And it's really cool though, actually, that your family is here because it shows like the generational impact, right? Of like one generation to the other and moving it on to the next and Carlos. And so just congratulations to you all, and thank you for both of your leadership in the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I see we have Principal St. Louis on Zoom, so please share a few words about both of these gentlemen.
Everyone, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm actually having a parent event tonight. Brian's on the other side of the cafeteria, and I'm on one side. Hi, Ms. Cardilli. So good to see you.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Look at that smile.
So I can't say enough about Mr. Cardilli. I can't say enough about Carlos. But I will say this, that Carlos, when I met him, I couldn't get to know all of my students my first year, but he always stood out. He always stood out. And then when we came back from being remote, he made sure he stood out. And that was so pleasing to see our children that want to be in school. He came to summer school and didn't have to came to summer school every single day, didn't need a class, but he wanted to be in the midst. And that was so pleasing to me. And Mr. Cardilli was at the mall helping kids get acclimated to what they would have to do to come back to school. He has been a very supportive and consistent rock for our young men. And the relationship that I saw with Carlos and Mr. Cardilli, it was constant and authentic. And I wasn't the one that nominated you, but many of my staff members did. And when I put out that, I said, let's get these nominations. So you were the top, and Carlos, you're right with them. So I am very pleased with both of you. I'm very happy to be here to share these words. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Principal St. Louis. And Carlos, to you, what are you going to do when you graduate? Let me tell you what I would love for you to do. If you could come back into the Rochester City School District and teach. So consider a teaching career and consider coming back to the Rochester City School District. I'm pushing this teaching thing. So I know you may have other considerations, but please include teaching as one of those. So again, congratulations, Carlos, congratulations, Mr. Cardilli, and the Cardilli family. I mean, we are so excited about, we've got these generations of district employees, administrators, and teachers. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Principal St. Louis. Good night.
Everybody. Welcome. Today is November the 18th, 2021. The time is now 6:32. I hope everyone is having a good evening. Weather's not so great out there, but we made it here safely. As you all know, we occasionally, I think it's every other month, offer up 2 awards to students and families and staff. Earlier today, about 6 o'clock, Vice President Elliott presented the I Believe Award. It was presented to a student at Leadership Academy for young men, and also to a teacher who supported him in his effort to become a better student. It was wonderful to hear
because
both of
Dr.
those.
Black said I don't need to stay, period.
It was wonderful to hear both of those, the student and the staff member, speak up today and talk about their very powerful relationship. So thank you, Vice President Elliott. What were the names again?
Brian Cardelia and Carlos, what is, I don't know. Carlos.
Brian Cardili is the teacher, and it was Carlos de Jesus.
So I don't know if they're still watching, but if you all could join me and my colleagues in giving them a wonderful round of applause. You know, sometimes when we look at the numbers, the graduation rate numbers, the ELA scores, math scores, we sometimes forget that these are the result of individuals working hard together, and these represent individual lives. And what we heard from Mr. Cardili is a wonderful story about how he has generations of teachers in the district, and what a wonderful story we heard about Carlos. He just has really taken to heart the relationship that he has with not only his teacher, Mr. Cardili, but also his coach, Mr. Cardili. So again, thank you, Vice President Elliott and Principal Jinga St. Louis, for presenting today's I Believe Award. Next item on the agenda is the first thing that we normally do is we have an act of reverence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Adrian, since this is your first official full meeting as General Counsel, why don't you, if you don't mind, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sorry to catch you off guard there, but... Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Adrian. Listen, when president, I made a point of having young people lead us in the pledge, but doggone it, that COVID, it just doesn't allow us to have this room packed the way it used to be back in the day. I would look for the youngest person in the room, and those young people would bum rush to the podium and lead us in the pledge. I hope and pray very soon we will get back to the day when this room is filled with citizens, young and old, and we can once again have young people lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's all pray for that moment. Now, speaking of the word prayer, we do try to set aside some time at the beginning of our meetings to contemplate, whether it's in prayer or thoughtful consideration, things that are going on in our lives, in our city, our state, and in the world. And Lord knows there is a lot going on in this room, outside this building, and in our city. I believe this year we hit a record number of homicides. Everything is truly relative. You think you got problems, but there are people perhaps 2 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, 3 miles away from you where things are even more difficult. So I'd ask that you take a few moments and join my colleagues and I in just a few moments of positive thought for those folks who maybe even have challenges greater than our own. Thanks for doing that. I'm sure there are a lot of people that appreciate those positive thoughts. All right, next item on our agenda is upcoming events. Madam Clerk?
Yes, I don't know if we have presentation ready. Let me see if I can do it from my computer. You know what? President White, do you want to move on in the agenda and then?
I certainly can do that. We can come back to that. Our clerk has just done an amazing job at keeping this district moving forward, particularly the board side of things. And she's done it with probably not even half the staff we used to have, probably more than half the staff we used to have. But in any event, so we don't have any minutes. She is juggling a million responsibilities. She promises to provide those minutes at a subsequent meeting, and we'll approve those minutes later on. Next item on the agenda is the speakers list. Madam Clerk, are you ready to do that?
I am.
Okay.
So we have tonight 17 speakers. I also want to recognize that we did receive 46 speaker comments. The comments are, of course, welcome, and the board does receive these ahead of time. And these are also posted to our website. But at this time, we will receive our speakers, and our first speaker is Nemo Ismail, a parent who is speaking on transportation. Is Nemo in the room? Nemo, when you're ready, you can come up to the...
Madam Clerk, while we're waiting, I just wanted to note, I know my colleagues appreciate this as well. There's a document that describes the comments of the various speakers. I'm not sure if Ms. Scott does that or you do that, but I want to, on behalf of the board, thank you for that. It's a really good summary of what people wanted to say to the board, so thank you for that work.
So Nemo, he's speaking in person. If Nemo is in the audience, we're going to ask you to come up to the podium to speak. Nemo Ismail. And sir, whenever you're ready, you have 3 minutes from the time at which you start speaking.
Hello, good evening,
Oh.
good morning.
1 second. Just press the on button for your mic.
It's already on.
It's on? Okay. There you go. Yep, you're good.
Hello. I'm the father of Rayan Hassan, and I'm here representing my wife because she's not here today, as there is somebody of her family who died, and she has a funeral there. So I'm here to talk about a situation about bus. We have a problem about the bus school because the bus is too far. The bus drop-off is too far from our apartment, and from the community drop-off, and there's a cold weather at this time, so my wife has 2 children, and I work at 6 p.m. and I don't have time to pick up my child. So we talked to the bus to drop off our kid in front of our apartment because all of the kids, their apartments in front of their apartment complex. They drop off the children in front of their apartment complex, but our kid apartment is far away from the bus stop, the bus drop off. So we ask you to drop off our child to the up to our apartment because he's already passing our apartment. And always when he drop off to the bus drop off, he pass our apartment, and we asked him to drop off our child. So he said that we cannot do. You have to talk to the vice president of the school, or you have to call to the. He said you have to call the school transportation center So we have two child, and they can't endure the cold of the weather because they are waiting like 30 minutes for the bus to come, and that will make our child feel like sick of cold. And then we talked to the bus transportation, and they said that we cannot change. So we tried to change the school for our child, and we call it the Rochester District School. And still we are waiting, and we do not get any response. So we need the bus to pick up our child in front of our apartment and to drop off there, because he's already passing our apartment. And that's the situation we have. So we need to fix it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sir, did you write down your comments? Do you want to leave them with the clerk? If you can print them up from your phone at some other time, maybe, because it was very detailed, and probably there needs to be some follow-up to your question. So is there somebody out here who we can talk to?
I know Mike's not here tonight.
Is there some administrative person that can, is there a phone number he can call? Because
Sure, we can get them, we can have them go back to the chiefs, the back three there, and they can work with them.
we just want to make sure that someone has an opportunity to talk to you directly about your the challenge that you're having. So just go in the back room. That guy that just stood up, he can help you out. Thank you very much, Carmine.
Our next speaker is Rabbi Asher Yaras, a parent who is joining us via Zoom, also speaking on transportation. Is Rabbi Yaras on Zoom? Can you hear me?
Yeah, is that my turn to speak now?
Yes, it is. Whenever you're ready, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Hi, good evening to all of you. And my name is Rabbi Asher Yaras. As stated before, we live in the city of Rochester. My kids go to the Derech HaTorah school, which is in Greece right now. It's a private Jewish day school. We love that school. And here's one of the students coming to over here, as you can see, and he's wearing his uniform that he loves so much. Do you love your school? And it would be frustrating if we lost transportation to our school. I don't know why we would lose transportation to our school. We're good citizens of the city. We've been paying taxes forever. That goes partially to the school system. Our kids don't attend the public school. So the minimum that we could have is transportation to this amazing school that provides us with the education that our kids like and enjoy. And either the city is going to force us by not providing busing to move out of the city, which would just not contribute to the good diversity of this community. It would be good to stay here. We love the city of Rochester. We want to live in the city of Rochester. We want it to be possible for us to do it. And the only way that it would be possible for us is if we could get our kids to the school that is right for us and for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Yaras. We appreciate your comments tonight. Our next speaker is Angela Delgado, a parent also speaking on transportation, and she is joining us via Zoom. Angela, is she on our Zoom at this time?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Whenever you're ready, you have 3 minutes, okay? Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So I have 2 children. We reside in the city of Rochester. I have one child that attends Renaissance Academy Charter School of the Arts, and I have one that attends Rochester Christian School. You would be doing the students of those schools a great disservice by ending transportation. It would be not only detrimental to families, we would have to move out of the city. And we do like living in the city, but there'd be no way. We chose the schools that we send our children to because they offer things that the typical public schools don't. For one, my son's school offers religious education and Christian values. My daughter's school offers arts and humanities in elementary school. None of the public city schools offer that in elementary school. It would be very detrimental to close that school, because that's what eventually would happen if you ended transportation. Over 400 of the students that attend Renaissance Academy are bused in from the city. So there'd be no way that school would stay open. I would really hate to see that happen, as I'm sure many other families would hate to see that happen. Our school has a 95% attendance rate. You know, we pay taxes to live here in the city, to have our busing, and it would just be terrible to lose. I think you'd lose a lot of good people that live in the city just because of this transportation issue. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Delgado. We appreciate your comments tonight, and thank you for joining us. Our next speaker is David Laganov, another parent, also speaking on transportation. And I understand he is in person. Yes, come on up, Mr. Laganov. Whenever you're ready, you have 3 minutes.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. To the honorable members of the Rochester City School Board. As a parent of 5 elementary school age children and we live here in Rochester, I'd like to speak about the transportation issue, which is a little bit concerning very concerning to me and to my family. A proposal to take away the busing from the children that attend non-public schools. I would like to make 3 very short points, since I know this is going to be very brief. Before I address the concern directly, I would just like to take a step back and tell you a little bit about myself. I'm myself an immigrant. I came to the United States at around high school age. I came from Russia, and when I was attending elementary school in Russia, in Moscow, so our Russian government never provided any sort of transportation to the children, no matter where they went. I had to spend over an hour and a half each way to get to a Jewish religious school in the city of Moscow. I had to take 2 buses, a subway, and then walk for about a half hour. When I was dreaming about coming to this country, one of the things that I had in my mind was that I'll be able to raise my family in the United States, and my children will not have to go through what I will have to go through. There'll be busing, there'll be opportunities for them to attend the school of their choice, and the city that we're going to settle in will be partners with us on that. But unfortunately, I see right now this service was about to take it away from them, and it's very disappointing to me. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, as it was mentioned by the other parents, that we do pay a lot in taxes, and by sending our children to a non-public school, we save the city tremendous amount of money. It's a public record online. It costs about $25,000 to $30,000 to educate a student in the city of Rochester. So, and we, by sending our children to the non-public school, the only thing we get from that is the busing and textbooks. And we save the city all that amount. So for my family, I'm saving the city about over $100,000 a year, which is a lot of money. The third point that I would like to bring up is that if it will happen, it will create a tremendous hardship for myself and my wife, and I'm sure for many other parents, because both of us work full-time, and we leave our house basically a few minutes after the kids leave on the bus, and we come back a few minutes before. So by not having bus, it will very severely impact our livelihoods, and it will impact our jobs. I hope that the city will make the right decision in keeping the bus service as it was there, in order for us to be able to do appropriate things for our children, based on their, religious and social needs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Laganov. We appreciate your comments tonight. If you have your comments in writing, I could take them as well. You can also email us the comments as well. Okay.
I will email them. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is joining us via Zoom, Shania Oliver. I do understand that we're having a few technical difficulties, so we will try and address those as soon as possible to those watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. It's been corrected. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to welcome Shania Oliver, a parent, joining us on Zoom regarding transportation.
She's currently not in the waiting room.
Okay, I'm going to skip over Miss Oliver, as we understand she's not in the waiting room. Our next speaker is Ebony Stubbs, joining us also via Zoom, a parent speaking on transportation. Ebony, are you there? Ebony?
Coming in right now.
Thank you. Just giving Ms. Stubbs some time to join the Zoom.
I am here.
Wonderful. Welcome, Ebony. Whenever you are ready, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to present tonight. Thank you guys for even being here with this opportunity. I am a parent leader in the community. I am very active. I have 2 scholars that go to RCSD. I have 1 scholar, that goes to RCSD, and I have 2 charters. So I come to you today on behalf of charter school transportation issue. I'm actually coming to you also as the parent rep from Discovery Charter School. I needed to speak to you guys to ask you to reconsider the chopping block of transportation for charter schools. We actually throw around the word choice as if it's okay, choose what you want to. And so when a parent or grandparent, whoever's over the child, when they make those decisions and they choose, obviously they choose the best interest for their child. So with the option of choosing, I didn't think that me choosing will get to this point of a major thing of transportation being put to the forefront of being taken away. I don't think it's fair. I think that it should be reconsidered. We already know that there's many issues with RCSD's mismanage of monies. I can come many ways tonight, but I'm just gonna make it very simple. We're just asking that you guys please reconsider taking off charter schools off the cut of transportation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stubbs. We appreciate your comments tonight. I just want to make a brief announcement that there are some folks in the waiting room on Zoom that are not listed on our speakers list. Please remember, if you have joined the Zoom, that you must name yourself in accordance to what you signed up with on when you signed up with the board staff, either this afternoon or yesterday. So please, if you are named iPhone or any other name that's not on the list, we ask that you please rename yourself so we can correctly identify you and let you into the room. Our next speaker is Moshe Vogel, and I hope I have pronounced the name correctly. That is a parent who is speaking on transportation and joining us in person. Mr. Vogel, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Moshe Vogel. I'm a rabbi in the Park Avenue area. My wife and I, we have 3 boys in elementary school, 4th grade, 2nd grade, and kindergarten. They attend Derech HaTorah of Rochester, which is located right now in Greece. We chose Derech HaTorah. It wasn't much of a choice. For us, a comprehensive Jewish education is not a simple choice. It's one that is number 1 on our we take that into consideration when moving to a city, wherever we are. The education of our child is the most important thing. Mr. Laganov mentioned my grandmother grew up in communist Russia. She told us stories of the way her family had to risk their lives in order to get that education. We, thank God, live in a country that gives us the freedom not to have to make those same choices and those decisions in order to give our children the education that they need, that we feel is important for them. As mentioned earlier, one of the only things we receive from the city of Rochester for the taxes we pay is busing, and that in textbooks. Taking that away from our children, it sends the message to our children, one, that the city of Rochester doesn't value their education choice as much as other residents of the city. And number two, it tells them that there are still consequences, unfortunately, for getting a Jewish education, even in the United States, even in Rochester, there are still going to be consequences. And at a time in their life when we should just be giving them positive reinforcement and helping them grow, this would have the opposite impact. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vogel. We appreciate your comments tonight. And again, for any speaker who's speaking in person and has your written comments, please feel free to submit them to the board staff.